Broadcasting from Park Avenue West, you're watching WMFD Television, Channel 68.1, Mansfield.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
It was the last one I went to a week ago. The mother said to me, "I'm never going to be the same, am I?"
Maybe an hour after we got the message that we lost Danny, Danny's sister said to us, we were all crying, and she says, "What do we do? What do we tell people?" And I'm like, "Baby, we got to tell them the truth. This is nothing that can be hidden, because otherwise the suicide will win."
We're not mental health professionals. It's just something that happened to our family. We direct people other places. And most important of all, I think, don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep living. Things will get better.
And welcome to Sparking the Conversation. We are 33 Forever, and I'm Donna Hack. This is my husband, Jeff, and we are so excited to bring you weekly half-hour messages and stories about mental health from our community and beyond. Now, this show's purpose is for hope, and we want to provide both information and inspiration to help make conversations about mental health become the norm. Now, this program also discusses very sensitive mental health issues, so viewer discretion is advised when you guys are watching.
So tonight, we're really pleased to introduce to you Tony Coder, who's the Executive Director of the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. Tony leads the charge to support community-based efforts in Ohio to reduce the stigma of suicide, to promote education and awareness about suicide prevention, to provide training and development, and to increase resources and programs that reduce the risk of lives lost by suicide. It's a very heavy and vital role that Tony plays in the state of Ohio, and we are really honored again tonight to welcome you here, Tony. Thanks for being with us, and we're proud to also call you a good friend over the last year and a half.
Absolutely, and thank you so much, Jeff, Donna, for not only having me here, but also for hosting this show, Sparking the Conversation. What a great idea.
Great idea. Let's hope so.
We're excited about it. We're looking forward to more of these, but we're still learning as we go. But it's so fun so far. So
yes, and we are so happy to have you as our first guest. You were instrumental to us in the healing process.
Well, I think it's wonderful to. That's really what keeps us going. What keeps me going is being able to connect with families across the state. Families that have been impacted, because to me, at the end of the day, the only thing that's really going to change and bring down suicide numbers are families. It's just like Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I mean, drunk driving was a huge issue, but it was parents, talking about the issue, bringing this to the forefront, and that's what I think you all are going to do. Is you're going to bring this to the forefront, and we're going to stop suicide in this state. That's my hope.
That's our hope too. So for those of us, or those viewers who are watching who don't really know what the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation is, I'm going to call it the OSPF all night because I'll stumble over those words otherwise. But for people who don't know what the OSPF is and does, can you give them a brief summary sort of what's your organization all about?
So we work with over 70 community coalitions around the state. We do a lot of advocacy down at the State House. I spent most of the day down at the State House today talking about mental health and suicide prevention, no matter if you're young, old, veteran, civilian, whatever. And we also do programming around the state. But again, most importantly, it's working with families. It's working with folks who are doing the work on the ground that is most important to us, because without the voice of families and without the voice of folks who are standing up and saying, you know what, mental health is not, it's not an affliction. It is something, it's a disease that we deal with, and it's going to be something that I'm not ashamed of. But instead, it's something that we can conquer, we can work with together.
That's well said.
That is, and Tony, you do something that we found incredibly inspiring and sad at the same time. You spend many of your days going around the state to funerals with families who've lost someone to suicide. how do you do that? And especially if you even put it with the story on how you came to working with the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation.
I go to funerals because what I've noticed, I worked for state government before this job, and what I noticed was state government, great people there, but they kind of sit away from people. We make a lot of policies and those types of things. This actually grounds me. This is the reason that we have to do this. This is all about people. Suicide, mental health, it's about people. It's not about payment rates, or it's not about any Medicaid or insurance. It's, at the end of the day, it's about human beings. And to be able to be and see the impact, and I have every one of those folks' picture, including Danny's, on my wall, because it inspires me every day that that's why we're doing this. So I wish it was, I would meet folks, and I wish I'd meet you under different circumstances, but I'm so proud to be working with you.
We are too. So proud to be working with you. One of the things that I think is important for this audience to understand is you have some of your own personal story, your personal reasons to be the executive director of the OSPF. Tell the folks what that's about.
So this was a position I never thought I'd be in. My son had a suicide attempt back in 3 years ago, and it was something. He sat in an emergency room for 48 hours, and they took his phone. He wasn't allowed to call. He was an adult. So it was something that was, what is going on? And honestly, I tried to put that at the back of my mind. Let's forget about it. Let's pretend it never happened. And when I was offered this position, I talked with Bryce, and he said, "Dad, would you do it for me and kids like me?" And that's the reason I'm doing this. So it's really, it's very personal to me. But since I've taken the job, it's also, I'm fighting for Danny. I'm fighting for Jordan. I'm fighting for Jacob. All of these folks that we've met that are just so important to this cause.
Well, you become a hero to your son as well as to all of us. Now, everybody, I want you to hang on. We're going to have to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Tony Coder of the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation.
We're all in this together, and now more than ever, it's critical that we all support our local businesses. Please shop local first. Shopping local affects our everyday life, from emergency services to the quality of our schools. Supporting local businesses is a wise investment that promotes growth, pride, a sense of community, and frankly, is just more convenient.
Shop local first, all across the area. Shop here first.
You good? Anything you want to talk about? Here if you need me. Just want to check in. Appreciate you. Everyone feels less than okay sometimes. They may not want your advice, but they may welcome your ear. Be present is a simple but powerful way to be there for others, especially now when many are separated. Help teens and young adults find their power, conquer the difficult times, and get to a better tomorrow. Be present, Ohio.
Attention! If you've been classified as a high-risk driver due to DUI, DWI, or tickets for aggressive driving and are required to get expensive and hard-to-find SR22 auto insurance, then you must listen to this message because Serenity can help. We're the largest insurance company in the U.S., specializing in SR22 auto insurance and focused on serving the needs of customers classified by the state as high-risk drivers. We help people get back on their feet by providing easy-to-get, low-cost SR22 insurance that anyone can afford. If you need SR22 auto insurance, or if you have it now and are paying too much, you need to call us today for your free quote.
At 800-497-5677.
Our specialists are standing by waiting for your call. We understand people make mistakes, and we're here to help by making SR22 insurance easy to get and affordable for everyone. The call and quote are free. Call us now at
800-497-5677. That's 800-497-5677. Again, 800-497-5677.
And welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We were just talking about Tony Coder and how he came to be on the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation board, executive director, and we talked about funerals that you go to. And I wanted to tell you, as a mom, if you showed up and you don't know the people, it would still, it would just warm my heart that somebody who knew what I was going through was there, because you feel so alone in those situations. And the one thing I wonder is, what do you say to people who've lost someone to suicide? That's the hardest thing.
When I first meet them, I mean, just, I'm so sorry. And it's usually, there's a lot of different responses. The last one I went to a week ago, the mother said to me, "I'm never going to be the same, am I?" And I said, "No, you're not." So, you know, you have that conversation. I've been, you know, everything from very sad to almost they were trying to take care of me. So it's a little bit all over the place. So there's no really perfect grief that anybody goes through. Everybody does it a little bit differently, which is, you know, what grieving is all about. There's no textbook to it.
No.
So.
Well, and we admire so much what you're able to do that for people, strangers. I mean, you go to strangers' funerals often, unfortunately, and too many. So let's talk about that. I think that's a good segue to the next thing that I really kind of wanted to ask you was, what, there are people, as we've started 33 Forever since we lost Danny in February of 2019, you know, we have heard all through this that the mental health system is in need of an overhaul, that it's just not working quite right for the people who really need it, not just in Ohio, but really around the country. Do you agree with that sentiment? And what do you think people like us, people on the grassroots, on the ground, if you will, and our viewers, what can we do to make that better? How do we help?
I do think the mental health system does need an awful lot of change. You know, we went from a system where we basically locked folks with a mental illness away and almost forgot about them. Yeah. You know, and this now we have so many great counselors and psychiatrists and folks who are working in this field. I mean, just phenomenal people who, you know, I know feel the stress every day of what they're seeing. I think, you know, what we really need is, you know, we need the stigma to be broken. You know, this is not something that we can just get away from. We don't lock these people away. That, you know, this is something just like a heart issue, that if someone has a heart issue, you know exactly what to do. You know, you take them to the hospital, they go into the hospital, they get better, and, you know, somehow their symptoms are managed. Same thing with mental illness. It's a disease. I worked for a congressman years ago, and the one thing he said to me, he helped with the Parity Act, and he said, you know what, the hardest thing about passing the Parity Act was, it was convincing Congress that the brain was part of the body. And what he meant was, it's one body, but because it happens here, it gets thought of differently than if it happens anywhere else in your body. So it really is kind of fascinating to think.
It's critical thinking we really just need to change in our society, I think, right? Yeah.
Well, what is the Parity Act? I know many people are thinking that, and I am. I mean, I know the end result has helped helped reduce the stigma, but what exactly is that?
So the Parity Act is basically that insurers have to cover mental health issues just like they do issues around physical health. So if you go in and, you know, you have to be treated, they can't not treat you if you have insurance and you're in network and all that stuff. You know, the same thing with mental health. They can't refuse to treat you because you have a mental illness. Yeah. And that's where I think parity is so important, because that was not the case before.
So we know some of the statistics as far as suicide are pretty staggering in Ohio and really around the country. And your website, the OSPF website, says that we average 5 suicides a day in Ohio, over 1,800 on average in a year. I mean, those numbers have increased, I think, steadily, really all over the country, but I know in Ohio really since the 2000s, early 2000s, right? So one of the stated goals of OSPF, Tony, is a goal that we at 33 Forever share, and that's 0 suicides. Is that realistic? And if it is, what do we do to get there?
Whether it's realistic or not, it is something we have to aim for. It's something we have to try. You know, okay, which life is, you know, we can be without. I mean, that's not the way we can think.
No.
And, you know, sadly, mental health has been treated like, you know, oh, he was, you know, he had a mental health issue. So, you know, he was a problem, he was this, or, you know, locked up. this we have to consider every life important, and not just you know, some are expendable and some are not. So that's why I think that is it realistic? It's going to be hard, but we can't let up until we achieve that. Not one life is lost.
Yeah, I know I've told people when we discuss that 0 suicides is our goal, you know, is 10 okay? Is 100 okay in a year? Oh, wow, we're down to 150, you know, in 6 months. That's awesome. No. I mean, like you said, it's every life, every family is affected, and the ripple effect is big.
You know, I think about what has happened with cancer and how, as a society, we've decided we really want to eradicate it. We want to get rid of it. Now it's a big battle, and it's going to be a long-term battle, and we're not there yet, but we've made tremendous strides. There's no reason why the diseases of the brain shouldn't be any different.
Well, and, you know, my grandma, when I was a little kid, said, you know, oh, she was Southern, so sorry about the Southern accent, but, you know, Tiger, she has the C word. And we didn't even say the word because it was something that was hush-hush.
Yeah.
We have to do the same thing with mental illness. We can't hide it anymore. I mean, this is an affliction. Depression affects, what, 1 in 5 people in the United States. So this is not something that is a rare disease. It's something that we need to lift up. We need to celebrate the people who are working with it, and we need to make sure that they have the care and help that they need to overcome depression or anxiety or whatever mental health issue.
That's so important. So we need to take another break. We're going to come back with Tony Coder from the OSPF right here on Sparking the Conversation in a minute. Stay tuned.
Special announcement from the Friendly House. Hidden Hollow Residence Camp will be open for 4 weeks this summer starting July 11th. Campers must be 8 to 15 years of age and must be a permanent Ohio resident. Tuition is $450 per week. Hidden Hollow will be operating under a strict mitigation and operation plan. Families should read the camp plan thoroughly before registering their children. Hidden Hollow is located in the beautiful Possum Run Valley. Call the Friendly House for details. Make it a summer to remember.
It's time to thrive outside. Spending time outside, like at an Ohio State park, is a natural way to boost your mental health. Just 15 minutes in nature can restore you, leaving you feeling refreshed. The parks are for everyone to enjoy. Visit detourtrails.ohiodnr.gov to connect to a trail near you. Need more help? Call the Ohio Care Line at 1-800-720-9616 for free emotional support.
Tired of struggling with regular mirrors that don't adjust so you can't get close enough? You need Flexible Mirror, the bendable, light-up magnification mirror that comes to you. Just stick it on and turn the base. The super suction locking mechanism means you can put it on any smooth surfaced place. Lock it onto any mirror, table, or desk, even on a window. The secret is Flexible Mirror's super strong articulating arm that's attached with an ingenious ball and socket so it can swivel and rotate for the perfect angle. The mirror is precision crafted with 10 times magnification and crystal clear optics. You can get Flexible Mirror for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. It comes with our 90-day no questions asked money back guarantee. And we give you free shipping on your entire order. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-355-1839. That's 1-800-355-1839 or order online at tryflexiblemirror.com.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to Sparking the Conversations here on WMFD. It is our pleasure tonight to have Tony Coder with us, the Executive Director of the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. Tony, one thing I'd like the viewers to sort of understand is the concepts of prevention. Obviously, we know about preventing suicide, but there's also a concept of postvention. Can you talk a little bit about the efforts that the OSPF makes in both those areas?
Yeah, prevention, I mean, a lot of people think we work with kids, but I mean, Danny, was a 33-year-old woman. Right. And we've got to understand that suicide, for the most part, about 80% of our suicides are adults in our state. So this is not a child problem. So this is something we have to prevent from early on to, into adulthood. And in postvention, what we do is it's working with families, it's working with communities after a suicide occurs. Because it doesn't just impact the family, it impacts them the most personally, but a suicide impacts an entire community. An entire community aches because they've watched that person grow up. They've watched that person be part of the community and be someone that they're proud of. And that's really tough. So building those networks, and whether it's support groups or peers, one of the things we really want to start is a peer network where folks who have lost someone to suicide can talk to another person. That seems to be so helpful because they really understand, as opposed to talking to maybe a psychologist who hasn't had that loss, and instead turning to someone who really understands where they're coming from.
And OSPF, just to follow up on that, OSPF is involved in those efforts directly now. That's part of what the mission is?
Yeah, so we are building. We're literally building, and I want to thank you, Jeff, because you're on my planning team of building a network for postvention in the state. We don't have one right now. And again, it goes back to how this subject area has just been kind of tucked away in a little corner. And because of 33 Forever, because of what the work you do and so many other families, that it's raised to a level where, look, we need to take care of this. So thank you for the help that you're doing.
You're kind in saying that. We just had no choice. And what you said about other people who have lost a relative, a loved one to suicide, the connection that we found there's no words for that. It's helped us in so many ways. But again, those of us who have lost someone to suicide and those who maybe have a loved one struggling, and what are the signs that we should look for, that they should look for, to know when to really get help?
Well, isolation, obviously depression is another. If you're seeing they're either very sad or angry, those different types of moods that you haven't experienced before, talking about how they're not useful anymore, so burdensome. They feel burdensome. So any of those, in young people, you can see kind of grade slipping sometimes with folks. But it is really just, you can see that there's a change in mood, and don't take it as they're just going through a phase or, oh, they'll get over it. It's something we really need to pay attention to and let them feel that they're not alone.
You provide, the OSPF provides resources, I know, to so many people in Ohio. And one of the things I would commend to people to check out would be the very excellent resource page on what to do if somebody you love or somebody you know or care about is experiencing some of those signs, and how to take them through the process. The OSPF website is just a fantastic tool for that, and a great resource that I would really encourage our viewers to look at.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we appreciate that that's on there, and we direct people there all the time.
Thank you. Yeah. And one of the things that, this is a sneak peek, but one of the things that we're creating right now is, what do we do if our child is suicidal? So many times we hear from parents, who do we call? What do we do? Where do we go? So we're working with parents to develop that almost step by step. Here's who to call. Yeah. Here's next steps. Here's how to get your child into treatment, or your loved one. I shouldn't say child. So that's coming soon as well. So look, you got a sneak peek right on this show.
Oh, I can't tell you how helpful that's going to be to so many people. Make sure you make note of his website. It's www.ohiospf.org. Yes.
Tony, is there hope out there?
Absolutely. You said earlier, 5 suicides a day. There are about 40 attempts that come into the ER. So that means 35 people are somehow finding help and getting help.
That's huge.
So people can be saved. And it is just like any other disease that, we surround people with a culture of celebration and celebrating, lifting that person up and helping them find help. We can absolutely save lives, or none of us would be doing this job, I don't think.
You're right.
I'd love for all of us to be out of business. We could go on forever with Tony. It has been such a tremendous, wonderful experience to talk with you, to share with our viewers. But don't go away. We will be right back, because we are going to have, in the end of this show, a memory moment. Come back soon. We'll see you in a minute.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not 1, not 2, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-374-3671. That's 1-800-374-3671. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Time of Praise with Superintendent Henry J. Bradley Jr., Saturday at 1 p.m. Sunday morning worship at 11:15 a.m. and midweek Bible study Wednesday at 6 p.m. A church in the community, for the community, showing the love of God to the community. Superintendent Henry J. Bradley Jr., Senior Pastor, and elect Lady Alice Bradley.
Welcome back. Danny, our daughter, the inspiration behind 33 Forever, would have lots to say about mental health if she were here. But each week we're going to take what we are calling a memory moment, and we're going to talk about something special that Danielle may have liked, or something that was part of her life, or something, just a fun fact about 33 Forever. Today, Jeff, why did we come up with the title Sparking the Conversation?
So Danielle's favorite holiday from the time she was a little girl was 4th of July. And this picture was taken about just a little less than a year before we lost her. And this picture just shows one of her favorite things, which is sparklers. And so sparking the conversation just seemed to make sense.
That's wonderful. So that's why we are sparking the conversation. And we want to thank you for being with us today. We will see you again next week on Sparking the Conversation on WMFD. Have a good night.